Hey, welcome. This is Magic Flying Potato, and I am making a Cyberpunk 2077 projected system requirement slideshow, I guess you would say. And this is all as of information I gathered from the past year up to the past month. I've been doing lots of research just to put some stuff together because I've had a lot of actually positive replies on my last video that I was actually asking a question about my system, and a whole lot of replies have came in from that one. So I figured I'd put this together. I do want to give a special shout out to, and if I pronounce your guys' names wrong, I apologize. Dramal Kermati presents. Let's see who else we got here. We got Von Blondenstein. We also got Jeff Dronitz. I'm sorry, Jeff. Elite Dark Volgamist. There's a whole bunch that was replying and participating in my last video. So if y'all were over there participating, just a huge thanks to all of you. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. And I do want to give a quick disclaimer prior to doing this. Okay, so this is for information use only. The information contained within this video has been the predicted requirements for the Cyberpunk 2077 game. Even if you meet these requirements, doesn't mean that your system is gonna run perfect like they say. You know, everybody's system's a little different, and sometimes they have little quirks that might mess things up. Again, the research that I did was gathered from reputable sites. I didn't go to blogs or Reddit or Wikipedia or anything like that. And like mentioned in my past video forum, definitely wait until CD Projekt Red releases their final specs before running out and buying new hardware, because again, all these specs that I have data mined and put together are subject to change as the game gets closer to release, and CD Projekt Red releases what the PC specs should be. What we're going to cover are the console requirements, what the current predicted minimum PC requirements are, and the recommended PC requirements. I'm not going to go into high end because, yeah, if you get recommended or even minimum and you go above and beyond, then you should be good. But again, as I said, everybody's PC is different, so you might run into problems even if you have a high-end PC. Okay, so for the consoles have the finite requirements for CPU and GPU, which means if you have an Xbox or a PlayStation, they have a set GPU and CPU, which means you can't go in and change them like PCs. So it is on the development companies to code their games to perform the best to the requirements of the consoles. So if there's issues with the game not running right, that is more of a programmer issue that they have to go in and do some tweaks on the game to make it run as best as possible for the consoles. Now, I know there's Xbox X coming out and stuff like that, but they're already pre-selling the game for Xbox One and PlayStation. So if you buy it for the Xbox One and PlayStation, then they got the game coded for that. Now, if you're going to get the Xbox One X and stuff, then they probably have another version of the game or working on coding the game for that. You know, definitely going to need at least minimum of 80 gigabytes for your hard drives. And this information right here was reported by IGN back a year ago, and I really haven't seen much changes for the console requirements because your console doesn't change. You don't upgrade your CPU, GPUs. Okay, so here we go for the minimum PC requirements as of now, which this information goes from last month to last year. Nothing much has really changed since then because, again, they haven't released new information. I put together the two lowest specs on each side, and also down below I've kind of put the couple of sites that I've got the main information from, but I will also put all my information gathering websites in the link or in the comments below. So if you want to go check out where I found this information, I will definitely have it listed below. So if you have the Core i5 2400, which was reported by the MacConList.com back in, when was that, May 2020, and the i5 2500K 3.3 gigahertz, which was reported by Game Maximus for the Intel, for the AMD sides, the FX 6350 or the FX 8320. You know, again, I picked the two lowest from all the sites I've done the research over, and those were the two lowest requirements. I think the 6350 is definitely the lowest out of all of them. I think more went with the 8320. Again, subject to change. Okay, so for the video cards, we got the GTX 960, which pretty much was across the board in agreement from a lot of the websites that I did the research on. For the Radeons, we got the R9 280 or 380. Again, slight difference, two different sites. I think the 380 was the more required or minimum required one than 280, but I did see a 280 appear. They all agree on, for minimum piece requirements, the 8GB RAM and the 70GB hard drive space. Okay, so for the recommended as of this month, June, and this is bound to change once CD Projekt Red releases their new requirements. But for recommended, I went with the lowest recommendations from multiple sources. For the CPUs, the Intel Core i5 4670K at the 3.4 gigahertz, or the Ryzen 5 1500X Quad. GPUs, again, there's three of them that came out. The GeForce GTX 1070, the Radeon RX Vega 56, and I did see a couple times appearing are the Radeon RX 580 with the 8GB. 16GB RAM, 70GB free space across the board. And this is for, again, the sources that I saw were 1080p Ultra at 60 FPS. But again, it all depends on your computer as well. So even if you may have these, doesn't mean that it will run ultra high at 60 frames per second. Again, this is all predicted. Okay, I do want to talk about this one site. Again, not affiliated with them or anything like that, but this was kind of the more accurate, it seemed to me, of websites I went to, because I went to a few to put my system requirements in to see if my system would run the game, and there was a couple of them that told me that everything I had was crap, and click on these buttons for the recommended upgrades, and they took you over to like Amazon or whatever, Newegg or something like that, and said, oh, buy these high-end parts. And I'm like, and that's when I made the last video and asked, hey, this is what I have, and this is what the minimum requirements are, or the recommended requirements. And I know from the discussions of my last video, people were saying that like my CPU was definitely more than I needed, or enough to play the game. Maybe not more than I needed. I'd go high end $3,000 computer, more than I need. Would love it, but yeah. I know my GPU is probably gonna need an upgrade. I was looking at that anyways, and again, 16 gig RAMs. I could put 32 in because I do video editing, but anyways, I went to this site. So, and again, they tell you the minimum requires predicted as of 18 May for both recommended and minimum. And you could test your CP on this site. You could test your PC on this site. So you go in and you just enter your information, and it will tell you down here, can I run Cyberpunk 2077? And you can see I got check marks all across. It's green. I do have a bottleneck. And right down here, if you go to the performance report, it says that it is my GPU that is the bottleneck. And you just keep going down and they'll just kind of show you statistics and stuff. And all of this is predicted. This isn't like hardline. If you do this stuff, this game will run perfect. So just putting that out there. And they also say that on this site. So like if I run it at low, I think this is at 35 frames per second at low with my graphic card. So yeah. And if you go up here and click the remove bottleneck, they'll come back and say, okay, well, if you want to improve your graphics, this is what they recommend. But it doesn't mean that you have to get what they recommend. They want me to get they recommended the GeForce GTX 980 Ti Gigabyte Extreme Water 6 GB edition. Okay, if I had the money, maybe I would get that. But I don't, so I probably will not. But then, it just goes down and shows how your performance report improved if you do that one bottleneck upgrade. As you can see, green. All this stuff is so yeah. This is a site that you can just go to check out if you want to see where your PC currently stands in accordance to what's predicted for the game if you're going to buy the game. Once again, this is a Magic Flying Potato, and I hope this information helps you out a little bit on deciding if you're going to need to upgrade your system in the future for the game or where you stand. Again, this is all information that I have gathered. This is not me saying go buy this stuff and go do this, or if you don't, your game will never run. This is research I've done just to help put out some information to help people out, because I had the question and I was confused about it. And I know, again, from everybody that was participating in the last video, they definitely helped me out, and I want to help others out. So hopefully this will give you an idea. And as more information comes out and gets released about the game, I will update the videos and help keep you informed about the requirements for the PCs. So once again, this is Magic Flying Potato, and I hope this helps you out, and I hope you have a great day. I am out.